Our most modern aircraft is, of course, the Piaggio Fox. And it's like any other organization. We would be remiss if we weren't constantly assessing, is this what we need? We're doing another study. I like studies. We've determined that the Piaggio takes us to this service level. Our clients are actually telling us we need this, which actually led to a semi-interesting story. Several weeks ago, I had some of the senior executive, and I was explaining that, you know, the Piaggio takes us there, we need to be here, and one of these poor chaps came into the conversation late, and why do you need to fly higher? But he was a deputy commissioner, so just to touch on some of the survivors, I mentioned you know, all the various aircraft that the RCMP have used over the years. They've gone to, you know, Ken Bork flies a number of our old Twin Otters. These things surface all over the place. A couple of Beavers are still in use. MPH is at the museum in Regina. MPI is at the Lancaster Society Museum in Manton. I touched on the Stinson MPJ, again in Wetaskiwin. The Grumman Goose right across the road here. The front fuselage of Mike Papa, the Otter, is at the museum in Regina. This is one of our helicopters, this particular one. It's actually our last Bell, and it's flying out of Comox. The newest Eurocopter that is actually down in Fort Erie right now, getting painted, or it better be. And we should be taking delivery of it in short order, and that'll be the end of the Bell products for us for the time being. With the floats, again in Comox. It's always interesting sitting in the hangar when these things go off by accident. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but it's kind of neat. All the AMEs are going, oh, I didn't do it. It takes a lot to put them back in and recharge everything. Again, this is again MPA out in Comox. These are all marijuana plants. The guys tell me, I mean, they could make it, they're flying over this, you know, Vancouver Island and all this neck of the woods constantly. Most flights they find some kind of grow operation, and they just make they make a, you know, a pencil mark on the map, because organization, we just don't have the capacity to deal with them all. Just a dumbass criminal story. A little while ago, one of the Air 1, which is there we are. Oh, there it is, just sitting on the ramp. I like this photograph a little bit better. This, of course, is Air 1. Air 1 was flying out and about over the Lower Mainland at some point. And some dumbass down below, you know, flashed it with this incredibly great big flashlight sort of thing. So the helicopter sort of did one of these and called in the ground crew. So the police cars turn up. There's 5 people standing there washing this car. They've still got this great big searchlight parked to one side, illuminating them washing the car. These guys are particularly dumb, because what you don't want to do is use your searchlight to flash a helicopter when you're washing a stolen car. and then what to boot, there were drugs, counterfeit bills, pepper spray, a variety of keys, a backpack of break and enter tools. I mean, dull. There's our Eurocopter 350 MPK in Alberta. This is MPB. This is unfortunately the Caravan that we lost in Teslin Lake a number of years ago. MPR, MPF, late and lamented, and of course one of our Pilatus aircraft. And on that note, that's the end of my presentation. I don't know if we have time for questions or whatever. I'm up.
That's lots of time.
Is your maintenance done here in Uplands yet, or not Uplands, sorry, Air Services for all major repairs?
The biggest stuff is done here in Ottawa, absolutely. For example, when we took the Mike Papa Juliet, the Twin Otter apart, one of our Cessna Caravans has our secret squirrel camera installed, and the guys did all the modification works, engineering drawings, lock, stock, and barrel.
I know the Twin Otters because that was an older aircraft, but say your newer aircraft, because are they extending the hangar here for anything for the new aircraft, for the amount of aircraft you have?
No.
So they still have the same parts, same capability?
Yes, yes. We need a larger hangar.
Right, it's pretty small. For the
It
work
is
is
so,
done.
it is so.
And all your parts, because of
This is the central parts repository, exactly right. We do have the smaller emergent need type kits out and about the country,
I realize that.
but everything's concentrated here.
Do you have any under contract employees there, or all your own?
They're all ours.
For heavy maintenance?
Absolutely, they're all ours.
Thanks.
Sir?
You hire somebody with a resume of 5,000 hours fixed wing or rotary. What special training does he get before he goes from a helicopter pilot to a mounted police helicopter pilot or fixed wing or whatever?
You'll get the line indoctrination with the more experienced, say for example we move him to Vancouver. He'll get the line indoctrination with the Vancouver pilots who have been flying from the law enforcement perspective. They do the check rides before we even hire them, resume checks. There is in fact a civilian member course that we put on in Regina in Depot where we try and send them so that they get an insight into what the RCMP is all about, because it is different. And it's really interesting because when we often, especially with the helicopter pilots who tend to be they're the ones that are doing some of this interdiction work and flying Air 1, and they very quickly, this just goes, maybe they were flying a survey line or some damn thing before, and all of a sudden, now they're a civilian member of the RCMP, they want the bad guy as badly as we do. And and of course that's good, but yeah, there's always the but. You've always got to say, listen guys, we're not risking life and limb here. There's lots of bad guys, there'll be more out there tomorrow. But
Never get them.
alas. But again, the flight indoctrination, and we're very, very careful with who we take. I mean, we've been remarkably lucky of late. Does that answer your question?
Not quite. I'm just wondering if there are any particular things they have to know about law.
Oh, indeed. Sorry.
Legalities.
Understood.
The thing that makes the transition, as I say, from a civilian pilot with a lot of experience to being a policeman.
Okay, now herein lies the distinction. While they are taught to fly from the RCMP perspective and what's entailed in following a bad guy at night and all this type of stuff, the fact of the matter is, and this is a bone of contention in the organization, we're ever so slowly moving, we still have a large number of regular member cops flying airplanes with police authorities, and they can do everything. Our move to civilian member pilots, they do not have the police authority, and to a certain degree that they don't then have protection under the law to do some of the things they're doing. A couple of examples would be, for example, the insurance coverage and the healthcare plan for a civilian member pilot is quite different than from a regular member. We had a civilian member pilot there a little while ago who had a health issue. She wasn't going to be able to fly for 6 months waiting for the tests to be done. We engaged the regular member health services process. It took us 2 weeks to persuade the guy that it was the appropriate thing to do. The tests were done in a week and the member's flying with us again. Regular member would have been 2 weeks. Back to the legal authority thing, we're asking our pilots now, as you saw in some of these shots, that was flown by a civilian member pilot. These guys are being lasered, they're being, in some instances, shot at. So we're putting, in my perspective, we're now putting our civilian member pilots, I believe, some of them in harm's way. So from my perspective, and this is just a battle I'm fighting within the organization, I believe that every civilian, we should maintain the 3,000-hour criteria minimum, but then give them special constable status and training so that they have a police authority.
Yeah.